Hello gamers, it's December the 29th, 2016. It's Thursday and it's time for the news. Well, it's hard to believe, but this is the last newscast of 2016. Next time I see you, it'll be 2017. It'll be a brand new year and a lot of exciting things to come in the next year. There's a lot of news to get to today, so let's get to it. The first thing I want to mention is our friends over at Miniature Market. They're having a gaming bag, foam, and sleeve sale. So if those are things that interest you, if you do a lot of miniature gaming and you sleeve a lot of your cards, they're having a big sale right now. So hop on over to Miniature Market and check out that sale. I think they got some pretty good deals going on for the end of the year. Also, Cool Stuff Inc. is having a end of year sale. And they've got several board games on there, one of which is Cry Havoc. I think they've got Cry Havoc for like $39. If that's a game that you're interested in, hop on over there and check that out. The next thing I want to talk about today on the newscast is the game Portal. Now I know Portal was a big game in the video game genre, but now there is actually a Portal board game. That board game is available from ThinkGeek, so if you go over to ThinkGeek's website, you can pick up a copy there. I'm going to put a link in the show notes down below to that game on ThinkGeek, so if you're a Portal fan but you're also a board game fan, then definitely go check that out. I know it has a lot to do with cake. The next thing I want to talk about is this last week has been a big week for retailers coming out with expansions. There's 3 different expansions I want to note this week that came out and are available in retail. The first one is Xcom, the Evolution expansion. If you're an Xcom player, then this might be something that you want to check out. Apparently this has some integration of things to the game where people within your own society are trying to infiltrate and mess up your plans from the XCOM. So before it was outside entities that were messing up your plans in XCOM and making it harder for you to complete what you're trying to do, and with this expansion it adds some internal conflict within your environment that you have to deal with. So if that's something that's interesting to you, that one is now out. Also, Colt Express Marshals and Prisoners expansion has been released. You can pick that up at retail as well. And if you're a Deus fan or a Deus player, the Egypt expansion is now available for Deus. So if that's something that interests you, that also is available at retail and you can go and pick that up. Alright, one thing I want to talk about is Christmas. Christmas is over. Hopefully everybody got a lot of fun things for Christmas. Hopefully a lot of board games for Christmas. I actually did get one board game for Christmas. I got the board game Edison versus Tesla. And it's a really fun game. I got to play it last night. We made some major mistakes when we played it, but we went ahead and followed through the way we had started through the mistakes, and we played it anyway. We are going to play it again, and we're going to rectify those mistakes. But it's a really fun game. It's a fun game because you're one of the inventors, either Tesla, Edison, or some of the other ones that are included in the game. There's 5 different inventors that you can be, and all of them are starting their own companies, and they've got stocks for their company, and you're trying to have the most money at the end of the game, either by building up your company or buying stocks in the company that are going to be the best companies at the end of the game. You can sell other people's stock and you can tank their stock and stuff like that. It's a pretty fun game. I will do a review for the game, so keep a lookout on this channel for that. Once I make sure that I have all the rules down. There are some finicky rules with different phases and how you multiply things for different phases, but once I get all those down, I'll do a review and maybe even a playthrough so you guys can check that out. Really fun game, and that is the one game that I got for Christmas. This Christmas has not been as centered on board games because this Christmas has been centered on virtual reality. One of the things I got this Christmas was the PlayStation VR helmet. This thing is amazing. I don't think I've ever done anything that was as completely immersive as the VR PlayStation helmet. You put that thing on, you start playing the game, and it's like you are actually there. It's crazy. I know that the graphics in the helmet are probably not up to what they will be someday. They're not 1080p. I think they're 480p. But still, it's an amazing thing. And if you get a chance to demo one, go do it, because it's just like something you've never done before. And it's really hard. You can't explain to somebody what it's like You just have to experience it and see. But one of the interesting things about it is that they are trying to integrate board games into this virtual reality. And so it is pertinent to this newscast because one of the games that's out for this VR headset is called Werewolves Within. And they're taking the classic werewolf game that a lot of us board gamers have played, and they're integrating that into a VR environment. So you are sitting around a campfire with other actual players who are also wearing VR helmets, and you have a virtual persona in the game, and you are playing the game Werewolf, where some people are the werewolves and some people are the villagers, and the villagers are trying to determine who the werewolves are, and the werewolves are trying to knock off the villagers. It's pretty interesting that they're trying to take a board game concept and put it into a video game concept or into a virtual reality concept. It's very interesting. I'm really interested to try this and check it out. Once I do, I'll let you guys know how it is. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I will let you know. The other thing I got for Christmas was a cold. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little stuffed up here, so hopefully my voice is good enough to where you can understand what I'm saying, but I might sound a little off, so I apologize for that. Alright, so let's get to some news. The first thing on the news is that Richard Garfield's Treasure Hunter game, which is put out by Queen Games, is now available on mobile devices. So you can get that for Android, iOS, or the Amazon Fire, and you can play that game. So if Treasure Hunter is a game that you enjoy and you want to be able to play it on your iOS, then you can go ahead, or your Android, you can go ahead and do that now. You can pick that up. I think the game's about $4. The next thing is Queen Games has announced 8 new games that they're going to come out for the new year, for 2017. Those games are number 1, London Markets. It's an auction and tile placement game where you're going to be a merchant and you're trying to become the best merchant in the London Market District. The next one is Mighty Monsters, and that is a game where you're betting and the monsters are trying to steal the king's treasure. So the king is going to assign guards to its treasures, and as the monsters, you're going to try to go in and take off those guards and get the most treasure, and the person at the end with the most treasure is going to win. The next one is Risky Adventures. That's a dice rolling expedition game where you're going to be going out and finding tools and trying to find the next big dig and trying to gain points by having lucrative expeditions. The next one is Glux, which is an abstract strategy game where you're putting things in a line. You're trying to do some area control. There are some rules that denote how you can actually control different areas, and if you're the person in the different areas with the control, you're going to get the points for that, and the person with the most points at the end of the game by controlling specific areas of the board is going to be the winner. The next one is World Monuments, and that is a game where you're going to be going out to a quarry and grabbing stones of different colors, and then you're going to be using those stones to build monuments based on instructions for the different monuments. Now, I did notice that this game is actually available. I think this game was a Kickstarter, and I saw that that actually is available for purchase. So if that's one that you're interested, that one is actually already out, but Queen Games did announce that in their 2017 lineup. The next one is Armageddon. That's a worker placement and bidding game where your village has been destroyed and you're trying to rebuild it. So you're using your workers to actually rebuild your village, and whoever rebuilds their village the best is going to be the winner. The next one is Spooky Castle. Now this is a really strange sounding game. This game is a co-op game, and the main player is blindfolded, and the other players have to kind of maneuver them around the game, having them pick up things that they want them to get and avoid items that they're not supposed to get. So it's a kind of a weird concept where the person who is actually the round leader can't see, and the other players have to get them in the right direction. The last game is Super Vampire, and in Super Vampire you are going to be somehow wearing a rubber finger. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I haven't seen the rubber finger, so I don't know exactly how that works, but you have a rubber finger and you're picking up garlic throughout the castle. You're trying to clean up the castle from garlic, and the other players are trying to roll dice frantically while you're cleaning up the castle to try to stop you. The first other player that gets a Yahtzee of sunrises means that time is up and you have to stop. And the person who gets the most garlic cleaned up in their castle during the time period that the other players give you by rolling dice will be the winner. So those are the games that Queen has announced. If any of those sound interesting to you, be looking for those in the new year, because those will be available soon. The last thing I want to talk about today is Kickstarter news, and the one Kickstarter I'm going to talk about today is Twilight of the Gods, Age of Revolution. This is a game that is put out by some students, and it is one of the games that comes out periodically to try to be a magic replacement or a magic killer. It has a lot of interesting ideas in the game. It kind of reminds me a little bit in the packaging of Ashes, where you get a box game that has, I think it has 4 different factions in it. The factions are denoted by color, kind of like Magic with your different colors. I think there's only 4 colors in this game so far, but it's based on deities like Hera and such, and you're going to be building a faction. Now, the interesting thing about this game is that one of the concepts in this game is trading cards, where you actually give cards to the other player, but those cards have kind of a Trojan horse ability to them, to where you give it to them, and when they play it, something good happens for them, but something bad also happens for them. This is in Kickstarter right now. It is fully funded already. It has 28 days to go. It has 4 different pledge levels, but only 3 that you're going to be interested in, because the 4th is a retail pledge level. But the first pledge level is a single pledge level. For $39, you get a single copy of the game. For $74, you get a double copy of the game. And for $104, you get a triple copy of the game. So pretty much for 1 player, 2 player, or 3 player. If this is something that interests you, if you're a Magic player and you're looking for something different, or if you don't like Magic and you want something comparable but different, then this might be something to check out. That's Twilight of the Gods, Age of Revolution. I will put a link to that in the show notes. Okay, so I think that's about all my voice can take today. Hopefully in the new year my voice will be sounding better and I'll be over this cold. But I just want to say to everybody, have a very happy new year, and hopefully 2017 is a big gaming year for you. In the next newscast, I'll be talking about Gen Con, because Gen Con ticket sales are just around the corner. They open up the ticket sales in January, and I'll have some specifics for that on the next newscast in the new year. So until then, I will see you guys later. Hopefully your new year is filled with board gaming. Until I see you again, happy gaming.